this is a really exciting time of year. June is like the peak time of gardening to me because that's when everything looks fresh and vibrant and alive. And so we're going to cover 5 things that I think are important to deal with your garden in June. A lot of times people kind of forget about these things. So I'm going to kind of cover a couple quick little tips for you here. The first one is peas. Making sure your peas are trellised. If you take a look down here, you'll see that everything's pretty well trellised out here. I've actually used pea brush, which, if you can see that there, is basically brushed from my apple and peach trees. When I cut the branches back to thin them and prune them, I stick that in amongst the pea. Also, the taller ones are trellised, and you can take a look further out here, and you'll see I've got more peas trellised over here. And with more pea brushing, I did more pea brush this year. I was really good about it. What's going on? We've had a lot of rain, so the peas are just growing like tremendously. And then I've got another one further down. Maybe you can just get a view of it down a little further out, but you'll probably see as we cruise along here. So that's number one thing, is you want to make sure your peas are trellised this time of year, because as the season goes along, I find keeping them up somewhat, even with the brush, keeps them getting damaged because they're laying over, they break, and then they die quicker. So that's that part there. The second thing I want to talk to you about is beans. Now, we've had a lot of rain lately, and the problem is that people don't pay attention. Before you know it, the beans are starting to sprout out, and they get leggy and weak. So you want to make sure you get some good fertilizer. I like using organic fertilizer, and the one I'm using here is, sorry about the dust, but it's Gardentone by Spinach, and it's all-purpose garden vegetable. I don't use it for everything, but I do use it for the beans and the peas. Now, we had quite a bit of rain earlier, so I had fertilized this about a week ago, but I find that when you get a lot of rain, most nutrients get leached away. But thanks, nice about organic, it will last longer, so it doesn't wash out quickly. That's about all I do for the organic, just a little handful. That's probably about 8 feet. Nice and gently there. It's nice to see the beans starting to fill in better. I had a tough start with the beans this year because of the cool weather. So I have a lot of skips in there. We've already got a 3rd planting, which I'll show in a second there. But once again, make sure you fertilize those beans this time of year and keep them weed free, because before you know, when the hot weather hits, these guys will explode. In fact, they've already grown inches already. Next thing that you want to make sure you cover, 3rd thing, would be potatoes. Now, I already healed these guys up. Let me get my hoe, 1 second here. The thing about potatoes, you got to keep them hoed up. And I use a particular fertilizer from Gardens Alive, and just a light sprinkling. I've already fertilized them. I'll do them when they start blossoming. That's the next thing I'll fertilize again. But to make sure potatoes start sprouting out of the ground, you want to get them hoed up, so that way you get the fertilizer in there and get it. As you can see, I've already hold this up quite a bit. Now, I like to interplant my potatoes. I do have leeks growing in here. I'm going to put my finger down so you can see. These little thin guys are leeks. I've already come through and fertilized them with the same type of fertilizer from Gardens Alive, that for potatoes as well as for the leeks. And I'll probably hit those with some more fertilizer probably in about a week or so. And so that's the 4th thing. Go look at my notes. Hold on, folks. 1 second here. Number 4. Potatoes. Pick about, oh, spinach. Spinach. So I've already been picking spinach, but we've got some more to pick. And come over and check this out here. So we planted spinach. I like to interplant things a lot. So the beautiful thing is, spinach and lettuce do well. I'm sorry, spinach and strawberries do well together. So we got strawberries growing in here. This is next year's crop. I got some dill growing here. Probably dill will seed itself, and so it's beautiful. It's wonderful for fish and great things like that, different dips. So here's a spinach here, so we want to get picking that, because what happens is I already had a bunch over in the other side of the garden. We'll show you in a second when we talk about strawberries that already started to bolt. So when you get the hot weather coming through June, make sure you keep on top of your spinach picking. And really, as far as planting spinach, and we're in Zone 5, Southern New Hampshire. I know a lot of people are in the southern climates, northern climates. Pretty much by middle May, you should be pretty well done planting spinach seeds because it's not going to do well in the summer. However, I do start planting spinach seeds again in middle August into early September for my fall crop. And we'll cover that when we get closer to that. And then the last thing we're going to cover is strawberries and rhubarb. So come along, I'll show you how the strawberries are coming along here. Corn, by the way, real quick, we'll interrupt. This is not the fifth thing, but corn also, got to keep an eye on that. I'm ready to pull the plastic off. It's going to rain. I'll pull this off tonight. I'm going to fertilize that because it's supposed to fertilize when it's around 6 to 8 inches tall, and there we are, 6 inches tall. And I'll get that done in a few minutes here. But that's another thing, is watching your corn. Starts taking off this time of year. I do use plastic to try to help it grow quicker, which you can see it did. But let's take a look at the strawberries here, and you can see they're coming along quite nicely. Here we go. Look at these guys here, huh? You see how nice in there? Now my strawberry culture was handled totally different this last year, and I will cover more in another video. I did some last year with how I dealt with the new runners and the new plants, but also I did the existing beds, how I use compost. Also I did a lot of special fertilizers, being kelp, powdered kelp, and also bloodmeal, and a little higher nitrogen. It's all organic. They loved it. I mean, I never had strawberries so well from when I did this last year. So what takes place here, we'll be enjoying picking these. We'll be picking a lot more in the next couple of days. Look at this beauty. I mean, look at that beauty. Oh my goodness, I got to taste it. I'm sorry. I know it's rude to eat in front of people, but hey, you know what? Wow, it's unbelievable. Whew. So with that, we also have some rhubarb we're going to be picking, and we're going to be doing a recipe for rhubarb and strawberries again. But real quick, I want to show you the earth spinach crop that's pretty well wrapping up. I mentioned about bolting. Come over here. So this here, I've already picked it, but you can see where it's starting to bolt. See the tops here? That's called bolting, when you start getting the little seed heads like that. So I ripped those plants out. This is pretty well done. And because I like doing interplanting, I've already got corn growing in between this. And you can see them right there. And I got more corn coming up here. I'll wait to weed this until it gets about 5 to 6 inches tall. And then I'll go ahead and get the Gardens Alive corn fertilizer, and I'll weed it out, and it'll be in good shape. And the last thing is rhubarb. So we're going to do a special recipe, like I said. And with rhubarb, let's talk about that for a second. Oh, blueberries, look at these, look at the blueberries. Look at the blueberries coming along. Looking good. And I don't know if you know this, but I just ordered another blueberry bush today. I'm going to put one right in the middle here. You can see the space between the two. I realize I have enough space. I'm going to grow on the other side more of the dwarf varieties, semi-dwarf, so I can get another one, that big open space, which is coming. And then here's more strawberries coming here. And then here's the rhubarb. So we're going to be getting the rhubarb going in. Now rhubarb, you don't need to do much this time of year, other than pick and enjoy. I have had these plants for years, but I do make sure that I split these guys out once in a while. So if you got somebody who wants rhubarb, I got a young couple, which I want to get on a video with you guys sometime, and brand new gardeners, and just kind of interview them what their questions are for a new gardener, especially in the summer, the challenges you come upon. But I split the rhubarb out. You got to keep it from getting too packed in, because it'll start getting smaller and smaller, like you're seeing here. So this needs to be split out again. So you just take your shovel in there and just cut at it. But I will do that in the fall. You can do it now. It's not going to hurt it, but this is going to wilt back more. So with that, I guess we have a recipe that's going to be coming into the kitchen, doing with a rhubarb, strawberry, toaster tart. And so the girls will be working on that later in the week here, and looking forward to seeing that, and you might even pop in and help out with that too. So that's just a quick overview of 5 important things. I know I threw a few extra little things. You can't help yourself, right? When you're out there doing this stuff here, you always see more, but there's a couple little quick tips of what to look for in this time of year in June. And we'll be back next week. Probably next week we're talking more about picking peas, what to do with peas, maybe a pea recipe, and then also going to be looking more into where the fruit trees are at next week too, which you need to start, if you got peaches, make sure you start thinning those peaches now. So have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. And thank you for subscribing, by the way. Okay, have a good night. Bye-bye.